Hello there you guys, welcome to one of my videos. So Manchester United want to complete the signing of Jadon Sancho next week. Now Jadon Sancho and Ole Gunnar Solskjaer have held negotiations several times, and Jadon Sancho has told Solskjaer that he wants to play for the football club. Now, there was reports coming out yesterday night saying that Manchester United are considering ending their transfer pursuit of Jadon Sancho. Main explanation is because of Borussia Dortmund's demands. Now, Borussia Dortmund's valuation is around £108 million. And like I've said, throughout the course of this Jadon Sancho transfer saga, it has been Borussia Dortmund's asking price that has been the stumbling block. Now, it recently said we had submitted a bid of £90 million, with a further £18 million due in performance-related add-ons, and it says we'll pay this fee in instalments over the course of the next 2 to 3 seasons. So I think now we've been persuaded to meet what Borussia Dortmund are demanding. Obviously, I said if we're willing to meet what they're demanding, then Sancho will be our most expensive signing, and he'll be the most expensive English player in history. Now, we've looked at a few alternatives to Sancho. One of those alternatives is Gareth Bale from Real Madrid. Now, Gareth Bale recently missed training with Real Madrid, so that's fueled more speculation up. I think Gareth Bale is recovering from a knee injury. He is available for just £22 million. We've been in for Gareth Bale for several years. I think we've been in for him since like the David Moyes era. Gareth Bale's enjoyed around 7 seasons with Real Madrid. He's still got a contract with Real Madrid until 2022. Real Madrid did pay £85 million in from Tottenham back in 2013. I think he's won around 13 major honours with Real Madrid. Don't forget, there was an unnamed club that had put an £89 million bid in for him. Was it last summer? He was very, very close to going to the Chinese Super League, but obviously never happened. Obviously, he was offered £1 million a week. But my element of concern about Gareth Bale is that he is injury prone. So yeah, he trained separately away from the Real Madrid squad. Douglas Costa, he's another alternative we've been looking at from Juventus. Now João Felix, from Atletico Madrid, he's another alternative that Manchester United are looking at. There's other alternatives we've been looking at. We've looked at Ousmane Dembele from Barcelona. We've looked at Rabbi Matondo from Schalke. We've looked at Kingsley Coman from Bayern Munich. A few weeks ago we inquired about getting David Brooks. But yeah, let's go back to what I said, regarding Jadon Sancho. So Fabrizio Romano, who is a very reliable Italian journalist, he said that the personal terms and the agent fees have been agreed with Sancho. And he said a contract worth £250,000 a week's been agreed. This would make Jadon Sancho the third highest paid player at the football club, just behind David De Gea and Paul Pogba. And Simon Stone also confirmed this. Mike Phelan, who's our assistant, he recently said that Manchester United could be closing in on a deal for Sancho because he's recently been following him on Instagram. But it's Jadon Sancho to Manchester United, a few weeks ago, looked dead in the water. Because obviously, Borussia Dortmund were saying that they were very, very convinced that he will stay with them at least for another season. It also said we had abandoned our chase for the player until the summer of 2021. And don't forget, last month we missed out on the deadline to sign Sancho because Dortmund said we had until the 10th of August to sign the player. But I'd still say his move to Manchester United is a possibility. We have had breakthrough in negotiations, by the way, to sign the player. He will be our next number 7 if he comes in. Obviously, we have got number 7 vacant at the moment. We have had a lot of good number 7s up and down the generations. Sancho has enjoyed 3 years with Borussia Dortmund. Dortmund only paid £8 million in for Man City back in 2017, so they got him for next to nothing. Still got a contract, I think, with Dortmund until 2022. It's good from a Manchester City perspective if he's sold, because obviously they do get around 15% of the transfer fee. But, we will see what happens. But around, was it last month, Fabrizio Romano had come out and said that Sancho agreed personal terms with Man United, and he said he was set to sign a 5-year deal with the club. But just after that got reported, he said that talks had broken down. But Sancho said quite a few times he wants to come to Man United, and I've already outlined the reasons why I want him to come to the football club. Is because, he's got a very good friendship with Rashford, predominantly a right winger, and Man United are in search for the right winger. He's still very, very young, so that means he's still got a lot of development in him. And if he comes to the Premier League, I think he will exceed expectations. So he could be making his debut for the club against Palace on the opening day of the Premier League season. Don't forget, we kick off next week. Now, I want to delve into some news on Sergio Regulion from Real Madrid, and this is negative news from a Manchester United perspective. Reportedly, Sergio Regulion's transfer to Manchester United is looking unlikely because he's set to stay in Spain. Real Madrid may not even sell the player now, but Sergio Regulion's come out and said that he would prefer to go on loan with Sevilla for another season, then come to Manchester United on a permanent deal. Now, Fabrizio Romano had recently revealed that Real Madrid had offered Sergio Regulion to Manchester United. He said we was considering putting around a £25 million bidding for the player. We have not yet made our decision though on the Sergio Regulion transfer. Real Madrid did recently say that they wanted to insert a buyback clause in any deal, so that was also the stumbling block. He's been training away from the Real Madrid squad separately as well, just like Gareth Bale, but he can't get in Real Madrid's team because obviously Zinedine Zidane prefers Ferland, Mendy and Marcelo ahead of Regulion. Now, Regulion's a left-back, and I said to it would be very beneficial if Manchester United could get a left-back in. We have got 2 predominant left-backs in the team at the moment, and that's obviously Luke Shaw, who's our first-choice left-back, but obviously he's injury-prone, and Brandon Williams, he's our backup left-back. We've also got Delort and Timmy Fosu-Mensah that can be deployed as left-backs. But Sergio Regulion, he's been at Real Madrid for several years. I think he's been at Madrid since like 2005. Like I said, he's had a few loan spells, with the Logrones, and he was out on loan with Sevilla last season. Still under contract with Real Madrid until 2023, and only 23 years of age. But he's a player that can cross the ball. He shows good attacking intent, good at operating space. So that's the news on him. Don't forget, we've been looking at Alex Telles from Porto. He's been another left-back on our agenda. There's been reports circulating in the English media saying that Porto have offered him to Man United, and Man United are closing in on a deal. Porto have said they want around £27 million for him. His agent was recently in Manchester to thrash out a deal for his client to come to the club. You already know the news on Thiago Alcantara from Bayern Munich. I don't think he's going to come to Manchester United in this summer transfer window. I think if he leaves Bayern Munich, he will go to Liverpool. I've been hearing that Liverpool have put a new bid in for the player. He's agreed personal terms with Liverpool. You know, Jurgen Klopp has spoken about the Thiago transfer saga. He said he's happy that Liverpool are linked with him and all this, and everything's fine. You know, but Liverpool have been emerged as the favourites for a while to sign Thiago. Bayern Munich have said that they want around, is it £25 million for him. For such a while though, Liverpool have been reluctant to meet Bayern Munich's asking price. Thiago was talking about his future not so long ago, and he refused to comment on transfers to Man United or Liverpool, and he actually denied asking Bayern Munich to leave, because it still said there's a possibility chance that Thiago could end up staying at Bayern Munich, because there's no main explanation why he'd want to leave. Thiago's enjoyed 7 seasons with Bayern Munich, won a total of 16 major honours, scored 31 goals in 235 games in all competitions. Contract with Bayern Munich does expire next year. That's when he would be available on a 3. Bayern Munich did pay €25 million for him from Barcelona in 2013. But the other week, Solskjaer held talks with Thiago in person over the possible move to Man United. So I think his decision's been made that he does prefer a move to Liverpool over Man United. I think there's now just 3 weeks left of this summer transfer window, and Manchester United have got quite a lot to do. Obviously, we've got to make more signings. We've also got to sell players, because quite frankly, there's still deadwood at the football club. We're looking to get rid of the likes of Jesse Lingard. We're looking to get rid of Andres Pereira. We're looking to get rid of Chris Smalling. I heard that he's close to leaving. I think he's agreed terms with Roma. We're looking to get rid of Phil Jones. We're also looking to get rid of Rojo. We're looking to get rid of Delors. Sergio Romero's open to leaving the football club. Sergio Romero obviously wants to leave Man United because he's not going to stay at the club as third choice goalkeeper, because Dean Henderson has just recently returned for us. But we sell players in this summer transfer window, will generate money, and it will help us with our rebuilding process. Don't forget, Solskjaer has got a goalkeeping decision to make. I think Solskjaer's got to put Dean Henderson as number 1 this season, because I think Dean Henderson is reliable enough now to become our number 1, because Dean Henderson has got that experience behind him. He recently enjoyed 2 successful loans with Sheffield United, and he was Sheffield United's player of the season. We've got Dean Henderson at the age of 14, so he has been part of the club for several years. Solskjaer said a few weeks ago, though, that he don't think Dean Henderson's ready to become number 1, and he wants to stick with David De Gea as number 1 for at least another season. We had the good news regarding Dean Henderson the other week, because he signed a new 6-year deal with Man United worth $120,000 a week. This season's obviously going to be De Gea's 10th season at Man United. He has been a long servant. I think David De Gea's had 7 good years out of the 9 years he's been at Man United, because in the last couple of years he has been a liability, reflecting on the calamitous mistakes he has made. De Gea has made around 405 appearances for us in all competitions. 300 odd of those appearances have come in the Premier League. Like I said, he's won everything domestically at the football club, and he's won individual awards reflecting on his good run of performances. Obviously, we paid just over 18 million for De Gea from Atletico Madrid back in 2011. I say when he does eventually leave Man United, he'll go back to Spain, De Gea. And I said if we'd have sold him in this summer transfer window, we would have still got around £60 million for him, despite the fact that he's been inconsistent in the last couple of years. Solskjaer has confirmed that Harry Maguire will remain Manchester United captain this season. This season's going to be Harry Maguire's 2nd season at the football club. Last season was his 1st season at the club. We got Harry Maguire in a deal worth £80 million from Leicester last summer. So he's the second most expensive signing at the club and the most expensive centre-half in the world at the moment. He was recently given extra time off, was Maguire, reflecting on his court case in Greece and his arrest in Greece. But if he doesn't do well this season, I think we need to take the captaincy off Harry Maguire. Some Man United fans don't even think he is good enough to captain the team. But Solskjaer recently gave us an update on our transfer plans, and he said, we still remain active in this transfer market. Obviously, he's demanding more signings at the club. We've only made one signing at the moment in this summer transfer window, and that's Donny van de Beek. I got Donny van de Beek in a deal worth around £40 million, paid just over £34 million up front, and there was like £4.4 million in add-ons. Donny van de Beek signed a 5-year contract with Manchester United to keep him at the club until 2025, and there's also an option of a further year. We know that Donny van de Beek will be wearing the number 34 shirt, and he will be making his debut for the club against Crystal Palace on the opening day, which is obviously next week. Obviously, I've already gone through with you what Donny van de Beek will bring to Manchester United. I think he'll bring goals. He'll add more depth in the squad. And I think he'll go well alongside Bruno Fernandes and Paul Pogba in our midfield. But Solskjaer said, he wants to make 3 more signings after Donny van de Beek. Because obviously, there's teams around us that are recruiting, quite well. I've got to make an admission, Chelsea have done the best recruitment by far. They've brought like Ziyech in, they've brought Timo Werner in, they've brought Ben Chilwell in, they've brought Kai Havertz in, they've brought Milan Sarr, Thiago Silva. They've just recently brought Mendy in, now Chelsea try to get Declan Rice on the board. But what a window, Chelsea have endured. So I think they could be in there with a shout for this season. Arsenal, they signed Gabriel Magalhaes and Willian, I think, so far. Tottenham, they've also made some signings. They got Holberg, Joe Hart and Doherty. Liverpool, they've only made one signing at the moment, and that's to Sikmas from Olympiacos. Recently got tested positive for coronavirus. Man City, they signed Ferran Torres and Nathan Ake. I think Leeds, they've even made a few signings and that. So there's teams that are doing good recruitment. But like I've said to you, I think Solskjaer deserves to be backed more in this summer transfer window. Because I don't think, he's getting backed enough. And, Woodward said quite a few times that, he's determined to back Solskjaer. He said at the first part of last season that, his job is safe, even when we went through that bad period when we enjoyed our worst start ever to a Premier League season. At that point, Solskjaer was very close to getting sacked as Manchester United manager, and the Glazers said that they're determined to back Solskjaer. I think Solskjaer's totally blameless. I think he is progressing as Manchester United manager. He's publicly admitted that Manchester United have got to spend in this summer transfer window if we are to compete with the likes of City and Liverpool and all of that. But Solskjaer recently revealed that he has been frustrated with the board over the lack of transfer business. But like I've said to we've been very, very critical of the board for several years. Obviously, there's explanations behind it, reflecting on how poor our recruitment policy's been. Because a lot of the players we have brought in the last 7 years haven't been the right calibre players for Man United, and we've brought a good 30-odd players in since Ferguson's retirement. We've also overpaid for players in recent years. And I just don't think, the managers that we've had since Ferguson have been backed enough. Obviously 3 managers have been sacked since Ferguson. Obviously that was Moyes. He endured like 8 or 9 months with the club. We know, obviously, Moyes never should have got recommended in, but obviously he did because of Ferguson. The main explanation Ferguson recommended him in is because he was both Scottish. Obviously, under Moyes we didn't win anything. We finished 7th under the David Moyes era. I think that's the lowest we've finished in the Premier League era. Under Moyes, we brought only 2 players in. That was Fellaini and Juan Mata. Louis van Gaal, he got sacked after 2.5 years. We did win the FA Cup under him. Obviously, Van Gaal brought a total of 16 players into the club. He brought the likes of Schneiderlin in, Sebastian Schweinsteiger, Di Maria, Falcao, Memphis Depay, Rojo, Darmian, Martial Shaw, who was still here. He obviously brought Romero in, Ander Herrera, Victor Valdez. They're the players that we brought in under the Louis van Gaal era. Obviously, Jose Mourinho, he endured 2.5 years at Man United, then got sacked, did win the Europa League and the League Cup in his first season. I think we got second in Jose Mourinho's first season. Obviously, he brought 11 players into the club. But I'll give you the main explanations why it didn't work out under Jose Mourinho is because he had bad disputes with the board, bad disputes with the top players, and the board went back in the signings that he wanted to recommend in the summer of 2018. So there you go. And I've said to you recently, haven't I, that Solskjaer has been in a similar situation to what Mourinho was in. And I said, it would be very, very beneficial if Manchester United could get a director of footballing, because it will give Ole Gunnar Solskjaer more backing. And I said, if we are to get a director of footballing, we need someone who knows the club well, someone with the right philosophy, and someone who has got that experience. Woodward has said quite a few times that he'd like Man United to get a director of footballing, but Woodward's been with us for several years. He's enjoyed like 8 years at Man United. The Glazers have been with us since 2005, so they've been with us around 15 years. But this season is a big test for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer and Manchester United, because obviously, this season, Solskjaer knows that he's going to have bigger expectations to exceed. I think if we can make another couple of signings in this summer transfer window, our expectations this season will be to challenge for the Premier League title. If we know we are to make any more signings and it's just Donny van der Beek, then maybe one of the expectations this season will be just to finish in the top 4 like it was at the start of last season. And I think another one of the expectations will be to win a trophy, because we've not yet won out in terms of silverware under Solskjaer, and we haven't won a major honour for over 3 years, and it's the first time this has happened in over 30 years. This is his second full season at the football club. But like I said, Solskjaer does deserve time, because he has been an upturn in form. We haven't lost in the league since January, so we are unbeaten in our last 14 league games. We did go on a 19-game unbeaten run in all competitions until Chelsea had beaten us in the FA Cup semi-final. This season, we need to see improvements at Manchester United. Like I said, Solskjaer's decision-making's got to improve. I think there's still certain players that have got to step up to the plate. Maguire's got to improve. Lindelof's got to improve. We need to see more attacking intent from Wan-Bissaka. De Gea's got to try and get back to his best. Shaw's obviously got to improve his fitness. Bay's got to improve his fitness. I think Bay will remain at Man United at least for another season. I know there has been rumours about him leaving. So these are the ones that really need to improve. But don't get me wrong, I've seen a lot of improvements since Solskjaer came in. Like I said, our recruitment's really, really improved under him. He has got rid of a lot of the deadwood since he got recommended into Manchester United. He's got rid of the likes of Lukaku, Sanchez, Angel Gomez, Ander Herrera, Marian Fellaini, Darmian, Valencia, Young. We loaned Smalling and Rojo out, don't forget, last year, but now obviously they're back. By the way, we have loaned a few young players out, which I knew we'd do, so obviously they can get regular first team football. A few weeks ago, we loaned Tahith Chon out. We also recently loaned Dylan Levitt out. I think James Garner's on the verge of leaving Man United on loan. I think we've loaned Joe Pereira out as well for another season. And there's definitely no players that have improved under Solskjaer. I think Martial's really, really improved under him. Rashford's improved under him. Pogba has as well. Fred's improved under him. Fred, by the way, is now staying at Manchester United. That has been confirmed, and I think we are considering giving Fred a new role. McTominay has improved under him. He enjoyed a very good season last season. I think now McTominay is our first choice defensive midfielder. I think Matic has really, really improved under Solskjaer. Matic got a lot of starts towards the end of last season, didn't he? So he was getting there ahead of like the likes of Fred and McTominay. You know, Shaw's really, really improved under him. You know, Greenwood was very good last season. You know, Williams was very, very good last season. So these are the improvements that I have seen. But last season was obviously Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's first full season at the football club. And to be quite honest with you, I think he did well. You know, he exceeded most expectations. Obviously, got us qualification for the Champions League. Also got us third, and we did progress to 3 semi-finals. You know, we did get to the FA Cup semi-final, the Europa League semi-final, and we got to the EFL Cup semi-final. But like Solskjaer said, semi-finals are not good enough. But I think this season will tell the story if Solskjaer's the right manager for Man United and if he is the foreseeable future for Man United. Some Manchester United fans don't think Solskjaer is good enough to obviously win the Premier League title because, let's be honest, he hasn't got that good. He hasn't got a brilliant pedigree behind him, has he? Solskjaer, you know, he's gained managerial experience, obviously reflecting how long he's been with us. You know, Man United is the third club in his managerial career. But before he was with us, he was at Molde. He did win a few Norwegian titles with Molde, and before he was at Molde, he was at Cardiff. His record at Cardiff was disastrous. The main explanation why he got sacked from Cardiff is because he ended up getting Cardiff relegated. So that is why. But if we was to win the title under Solskjaer, I know it would be our first title under him, and it would be our 21st title overall, because as it stands at the moment, we've won 20 titles and 13 of them are Premier League titles. So as it stands at the moment, we are the most successful team in Premier League history. But I think we are at least a couple of years off winning the title, because City and Liverpool are strides ahead of us at the moment. But we have not won the Premier League since 2013, don't forget. So we haven't won it for 7 years. We hadn't even challenged for the title in the last 7 years. So that just indicates how inconsistent we have been. There's still some Man United fans that don't think Solskjaer is the right manager. You know, there's some Man United fans that believe that we need to get a manager in with a proven pedigree, such as Jurgen Klopp or Pep Guardiola, for prime example. But if things were to go well this season, then there's a possibility chance that, you know, Solskjaer could extend his contract and more Man United fans would believe, you know, he is the right man. You know? But like I've said to you, I just think it's going to be hard for any manager at Manchester United to replicate Ferguson's legacy or to last as long as Alex Ferguson did, you know? But we shall see. Yesterday, I gave you the news, didn't I, on Paul Pogba. Paul Pogba did return to training for Man United yesterday because he has just recovered from coronavirus. So this is very good news from Man United perspective. It's also very good for Pogba and his family that he's recovered from this. But Solskjaer's confirmed he is a doubt for the game against Crystal Palace. You know, he's not 100% sure if he is going to be available. Don't forget, Paul Pogba was out with an ankle injury for the vast majority of last season. Pogba sustained a few injuries as a Man United player, but I thought towards the end of last season, Paul Pogba was exceptional, and I thought his combination with Bruno Fernandes was very, very good. I think Paul Pogba will remain at Manchester United. Pogba's agent Mini Raiola a few weeks ago said that Paul Pogba will stay at Man United and he will hold talks over a new contract. I think it's very imperative that we do get him a new contract to end the uncertainty over his future, because Pogba's had a long-running transfer saga. As it stands at the moment, Pogba's just got under a year left on his Man United contract, but the club do have an option to extend it for a further year. As it stands at the moment, Pogba's our most expensive signing because we paid £89 million for him. Fabrizio Romano said, didn't he, a few weeks ago that Pogba wants to stay at Man United, and he said he's happy at Man United. So you know the news on him. But like I've said to you, if we are to, win the title, or if we've got any chance of winning the title, we need to make at least 5 signings in this summer transfer window. Man United obviously aren't going to do that. Obviously, we need to keep the players that we need at the football club. But I think we have got a good squad as it stands at the moment. Solskjaer, I don't think would be too disappointed if we didn't make any more signings in this summer transfer window. Solskjaer has spent over £200 million at Manchester United since he came in. And he has so far made 5 permanent signings. Obviously got a player on loan. He's also brought a few academy players into the football club. So it's good that there's young players coming through, more young players coming in. There's a lot of good young players coming through at Man United. So that's good. So anyway, guys, that's everything to update you today. Drop your comments, likes below on the channel. If you do, consider subscribe as always, and take care. God bless. See you all again very, very soon.